Hello again, it's time for another project. This is a remainder of a table that I've previously used on two of my other projects. So the last bit that's left, and what we're going to do today is route on this leaf. I've made it as big as I can to fit the wood. We'll route it out, cut round it, and then what I want to do is lay proper leaves in. These are the real things that I've collected on walks. They've been drying out in between pages for a couple of weeks, and the idea is to set these into the routed out stencil like so, whatever, and then what we'll do is put resin over the top and we'll see what we ended up with. So first of all, let's go and tidy this piece of wood up and we'll put our stencil on top. Okay, you can see we've sanded that down. That was just with a belt sander. Just skim it off, make it nice and clean. Don't worry about the size, obviously we're going to cut it off. Now what we need to do is get our template on like so, stick it down, get your carbon paper underneath and basically just draw around it like so. And that's the shape of our leaf we're going to do. So what we're going to do now is route it all out. Don't go down too deep, just enough to get the leaves to sit inside and enough to coat them all with the resin afterwards. Okay, we're going to have to go into the shed now and start routing this out. Right, we've got the router set up for working. I've got my CNC bit in. I use these all the time. They're very small, like pins they are. And I use these to cut round the main lines like so. And then I'll go in with, this is a quarter by quarter double-sided, and that will take out that a lot quicker. These do have a small shaft on them, so you want to collet, which is basically just a little tube that sits on there, and it makes that 1/4 inch, and that will fit your router perfect. Check out some of my other videos and you'll see exactly the same thing used all the time. So we'll cut this out first. This is what I call my little depth charger. So you can set your router to the depth you want, and I know this one's about right. So we're all good to go. That should be enough thickness on there, enough depth should I say, to route it out. We'll get the leaf in afterwards and hopefully fill it up with resin. So let's crack on and start routing this out. Okay, you can see from that we've gone all the way around with our little CNC bit. Now all I need to do is put on this double-sided, double-bladed piece. It's a 1/4 by 1/4 if that means anything to you guys. And now what we're going to do is set it to the same depth and take out all this middle section. So let's crack on with this. Right, we've gone all the way around with the router. It's got nice good depth to it. I wouldn't spend hours sanding it all down because all this is going to be filled in with leaves and resin, hopefully. Like bits here, because my router's got such a small base on it, it's dipped down a bit when I come off the edge, like so. Normally I would sand all that down, but there's no need, it's going to all be covered over. We've left our stem on here, because eventually we're going to cut all the way around this with a scroll saw. And just leave a little lip to hold back the resin. Personally, that could be left on there like that and just cut off and fill it all in. But that's not what we're going for. I actually want the shape of the leaf. So we use a scroll saw next. Right, we've gone all the way around that. As you can see, we've got our little lip. That's to save the reservoir from running everywhere. A general tidy up, more so the outsides. Like say this stuff, apart from brushing it down, there's no need to bother. We'll just smooth the edges off, go around it, and just general tidy up. Router a little strip in the back with a router, just for hanging purposes. Clean this back up. And then I'm going to put some linseed oil on, just to darken it back down again, before we put the resin and the leaves inside. So we'll do a little bit of a tidy up now, and then we're on to the resin side of things. Right, we're going to put our linseed oil on now. More for the sides and then this top lip. Not so much in the middle here because it's all going to be covered in leaves. And it's just your basic boiled linseed oil. Get that from anywhere really. So we'll throw this on, let it dry, and then we'll get to the resin side of things. Anyway, I'll continue with this until it's all finished, and then we'll get onto the resin, like I say. Right, that's all dried out nicely. It's all good to go. I haven't put the slit in the back yet, because this might end up being a coaster or a giant tray, but we'll see how we get on. Anyway, that's all dry. The resin I'm going to use is Amazing Clear Cast. This is a 2 parts resin, A and B. The good thing about this resin is you just mix it 50-50 or half and half. So get a little container, mark it inch up the side, 2 inches, whatever. And mark the same for the hardener and one for the resin. So inch of hardener, inch of resin. Mix the two together. They do say use a 3rd container. I've always just put mine in, one into the other, and it's never been a problem. I'll mix that up now, and then we'll come back and start setting it in this leaf. Always follow your instructions. Right, we've mixed our resin up the best we can. All I'm going to do is pour some in this and basically use it as a glue. Just cover the base of this, stick all our leaves to it, let it set, and then we'll come back and then top it up at a later date. If you try and fill it up to the top and put your leaves in, they're going to float up and they'll be all over the place. So stick them down. Some people can use glue. You could glue these all down first, then pour the resin over the top. Silicone, anything like that be fine. But I'm just going to use a thin layer, like I say, and then just put my leaves on. So let's get this poured on here. We're not messing about. Now that'll find its own level, and then we'll start sticking our leaves on. You have a good half an hour or so to work with this, so don't panic about the time. There's no rush to get it on. So we'll spread that about and then start putting our leaves in. Right, you can see from that shine, that's all coated with resin nicely. So let's start dropping our leaves in and see what we end up with, shall we? Use a little cocktail stick just to help them about. Tweezers if you want to use tweezers. I'm just going to go for it and just start throwing them in. Well, not literally, but you know what I mean. You get the general idea. So I'll go all the way around. Take your little stalks off, because they're just going to make little pockets under the leaves for the resin to get into. Okay, you can see what we're going for. I'll continue with this and just start filling these up, and then we'll come back. Hopefully when it's done. Right, we can see from that we've filled in the best we can. Now all I'm going to do is let that dry overnight, and then we'll top it up with more resin, and hopefully that should be it. There might be a few little leaves might lift up, so we'll gently poke them down with a cocktail stick or something. But yeah, we'll let that dry now, and then we'll top it up tomorrow. Okay, we've left that overnight. Everything's nicely set. A couple of little leaves here that got a little bit loose, so we'll watch those when we put the resin on top. But everything else seems to be fine. So we've mixed up our resin, same as last time, 50-50. I'd rather mix it in smaller batches and make some more. You've got plenty of time. Then mix a great big cupful and you've got it left over. So we'll just put this on gently, and hopefully we can start covering this up. Just go over the leaves that are lifting slightly, and the weight of the resin should hopefully press them back down again. So we're gently covering. Okay, you get the general idea. I'll need to mix another batch now, so I'll get on with that and we'll come back when this is complete. Just going to fill this more or less as to the top as we can get. And then we'll just leave it to set. Once you've mixed your resin, I like to stand mine in some warm water, just inside another cup, just for a couple of minutes while you stir it. It gets rid of a lot of your bubbles, and it just makes it flow a little bit better. So that's our leaf all covered now. More or less, just help this along its way. And once that's all levelled off, just get yourself a nice lighter and just go over the whole lot like that. Nothing's going to catch on fire or anything. And that's just going to help release any air bubbles that's caught inside the resin. You can actually see them disappearing as you're doing it. And then let it sit for 10 minutes, go back and give it another little blast over again. And then that's it. We'll leave this and then we'll come back tomorrow. I like to give a good 24 hours for it to set. And then we'll see what we've ended up with. Okay, that's it, we're back again. It's all set solid. Perfect shine on it, if I just catch it there nicely with the lighting. Not one air bubble in sight, so I'm really pleased with that. Now originally it was going to be a picture. You can hang it on the wall. It can be a nice tray. I'm thinking a nice tray with a bottle of wine on, a couple of glasses, and maybe get larger leaves like this and do exactly the same effect with a single leaf, and they would make nice coasters to put your drinks on. So you could make one of them and 2 or 3 of those ones. But for the purpose of this video, this little project's finished. So there we have it, one routed out leaf with leaves set in resin. 18 inch by 11. Thank you for watching.